authentication and various mechanisms prevalent in the industry to authenticate users. What is authentication? Authentication is the process of recognizing a user's identity. It is the process of determining whether someone is, in fact, who or what he or she declares himself or herself to be. Authentication technology provides access control for systems by checking to see if a user's credentials match the credentials in a database of authorized users. It simply means when the participants communicate over communication channels like internet, LAN, etc., the sender needs to authenticate himself or herself so that the receiver is convinced about the sender's identity. So, how does authentication work? Users are usually identified with a user ID, and authentication is accomplished when the user provides a credential, for example, a password corresponding to that user ID. Most users are familiar with using a password, which is a piece of information that should be known only to the user and is called as an authentication factor. What are authentication factors? Authenticating a user with a user ID and a password is usually considered the most basic type of authentication. It depends on the user knowing two pieces of information: the user ID or username and the password. It is known as single factor authentication since the username and password are used in combination with each other. Strong authentication is a term that does not have a standardized definition, but can be known as a type of authentication being used which is more reliable and resistant to attack.